All right, guys, welcome back. We are in bonus session number 2, and I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's session. I know I had a great time. I'm really excited to introduce you to our speaker today, our friend and fellow coach, Vanessa McConkey. She is here with us. She is, like both myself and Maureen, a wife and a mom first. She's got 3 little boys, super busy, and she's also a career coach. She's the owner and founder of Vanessa McConkey Coaching and Topline Resumes LLC, as well as a co-founder to Elevate Up. She's a speaker, a podcast host of Designing the Best You, and published author of Designing the Best Work from Home You. And that is what we are chatting with her today about, is tackling those work from home issues. This is, I think, has been the routine now for a lot of us working from home. Many people have kids or even maybe partners, spouses working from home as well. And then of course, all of the regular distractions that are just there, naturally trying, vying for our attention. So I'm super excited. Vanessa, welcome. And
Thank
why don't
you.
I know I gave a little bit of an introduction, but why don't you share a little bit more if I missed anything that our audience should know about you?
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. And this is such an honor to be a part of your little bonus sessions here in your launch. This is great. But yeah, as you said, you pretty much got a lot of it's, mom, like of crazy 3 little boys. If you hear them, they're running around over there. I'm just being realistic here. We're at home. And maybe something else that you guys should know too is I have a few autoimmune diseases. So being at home has been such a blessing to be able to be here because I'm able to rest when I need to. But also to be real with you guys that there's health issues that do go on and you have to be able to deal with them, and it's okay. That's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand. It's okay to have some of that stuff and express that you need to rest.
Yes.
Very important. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So working from home, it's a challenge. It's, everyone says it's a new norm, right? I don't say it's going to be the new norm. It's just going to be a part of most of our lives these days. It's something that threw us all through a tailspin this year. I think it's been a challenge for a lot of people to stay motivated. It's huge. It's something I talk about a lot in my book about being motivated. It's getting up, having the energy to move forward, whether you are a mom and that's your job, whether you have a W-2 job, whether you're a business owner. All of those are great jobs and they can be exhausting and hard to get up out of bed some days. I can speak to that. There was a couple years ago where I was depressed and I didn't want to get up and out of bed and do all the things. You mentioned that I'm busy. I am busy. It's like one of my least favorite words. I'm not superwoman. I'm not, but there's things that we have to do. We have to be around to serve our families and things like that. But if you don't figure out ways to be motivated, get on some kind of routines, those are so incredibly important. It's going to burn you, and then you can't be of service to people in your own home, your work environments, your community. It's so incredibly important. So if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of dive into some tips that people can use to stay motivated. One of them is, first of all, have a morning routine and an evening routine. So many of us, and I can say this because I love my husband so much, is he's in sales and he is on the phone all the time. He doesn't know when to turn things off. You all have your Slack channels on. You got your calendars open, your emails open, your notifications on. And if we're on all the time, it's hard to stay motivated 100% of the time. We weren't designed to do that all the time. So we have to have those morning routines where we're getting up, we're doing, I know Maureen, Alexis, you've talked about so many different things of like, hey, we have to, do a little, and I can't remember what session you guys talked about this in, but you have your, basically your manifestation time in the morning where you're talking about, hey, what should I be doing? All this stuff. I'm big on that. And the journaling, the gratitude, get moving in the morning. Don't just wake up, do your journaling and go. Like move, whether it's yoga, stretching, a workout routine, a walk outside, walking your pets, playing with your kids, dancing. I don't care, whatever it is that motivates you, in terms of movement, do it. And then make sure you're fueling your body. Don't just go straight for the coffee or the energy drinks and the bagel and cream cheese type thing. Make sure that those things are set, because what a lot of us, we know, or deep down we know, is that we know that we have to fuel our bodies right, but we don't want to take the time to do it. And then what happens is when we get that junk in our system, it affects our minds and it affects how we think and we act and we feel. And one day may not do it, but over time, it is a big deal. And then we can't serve each other. We can't be the best person that we were designed to be. So to do that, and then just get dressed. I mean, I don't know about you right now, Alexis. I got yoga pants on. Y'all can't see it. And slippers. I mean, I'll spare you those details right now, but get up and get dressed. I'm not saying doing it every day, have a full, like, as women, like full face of makeup or anything. Guys, do your hair, but make sure that you're presentable because it makes us feel better. And that's how we stay motivated, is when we feel better about ourselves. Now, of course, if you have a presentation or you're having a conversation like we are today, yeah, of course, we're going to look decent for you guys. We're not going to have our hair like all like crazy like this and whatnot. Here we go. See, we're not going to be wearing ratted clothes and whatnot, but make yourself feel good. Present yourself to other people. That's how you get confidence. You stay motivated. And then the other thing is, okay, have a plan for your day. Don't just go at it half-ass, right? You're going to have some kind of plan for the day. And I always say, start that the night before. So set your goals and stuff, set your checklist. If you're not a checklist person, just write down 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 max that you have to get done. And then tackle those first, because we all know what happens as we go throughout our days. Is we like, oh yeah, I'm going to work out. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah. And then it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're like, well, I'm mad at myself because I didn't get that done. And I have to push it to tomorrow. Right. And that keeps getting pushed off. So just tackle it right away. It's like eat the frog, right? Yeah. Slowly. Gross. I don't know who came up with that phrase. I mean, I know who did, but
I say it all the time. Marie Glass, you never heard of it, but yeah, no, absolutely. You know what? When you had said get dressed, like it is such it sounds so simple, and I'm sure people have heard it before, but I put jeans on for the first time in an embarrassingly long time. But I'm not even kidding you. And it was because I ran out of like clean yoga pants. I'm not like, they were just on the wash, and I'm like, well, these stretchy jeans will have to do. And I went to the grocery store. I'm not even kidding you. I was like on a catwalk because but geez, it does change the way you feel 100%. It's such and I always love this because like we go back to basics because we forget. And yes, routines. So like we always hear the morning routine. I love that you mentioned the evening routine because I think a lot of people have it in their heads, their morning routine. But the problem is, like you said, don't just journal and then don't just make it routine, right? Like when you do something like gratitude, your gratitude practice, or you do a meditation or a journaling exercise, don't just do it because, well, that's part of my, feel it, right? Yeah. Feel it as you do it. There's no point, and I say this all the time, there's no point in doing a gratitude practice if you're not going to take 30 seconds and feel grateful for whatever it is you just wrote down. It's the effect of it is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, and to do it at the end of the day too is to review back and like, hey, this is what I'm grateful for. Did that change? Did it not? And some days, guys, we're going to be real with you. You're going to be like, I am thankful that I have a tongue today. Like, I am thankful I woke up, that I got a cup of coffee, cold or hot in, right? It's going to be some of those.
My children survived today.
I didn't kill them. They didn't get hurt. I didn't yell at them too much, right? So we're going to have those days, and those are okay. But to get up and do that, and like at the end of your day, like have a set time, just like you would when you're in the workplace. You leave the office, right? You don't stay there all night. You may come home and do some work. Okay, I discourage that as much as possible, right? But you leave the office. So close your computer down, turn off your email notifications. You have the ability to do that. We have great technology. Do it and walk away. We do it where we leave your phones in the other room. Be present with your family. Come home, even if you have to go in another room and take off those work clothes, right? And then throw them in the laundry basket. Have that kind of routine. It's so incredibly important. And then it allows you to focus on the people in your home, even though you've been with them all day. Yes, I call my kids my employees. They're a little dirty and they're heathens and things like that most days. And some of the things they've done, Alexis. Yeah. We're sitting here, but engage with them, have fun, do something that's completely different than what you did at work all day. And then the same thing at night after, you've had your meal, you've had your playtime, go ahead and write down what you have to do for the end of the day. But after that, that's it. Go, if you have to watch a show, do that. I always say at the end of the day too, make sure that you're turning off your screens, whether it's your phone, the TV, any way, shape, or form, at least an hour before you plan to fall asleep. Your brain, like your eyes need that opportunity to calm down. Start dimming the lights in your home, right? Prepare your body and your mind for bedtime. Otherwise, how many of y'all are like trying to fall asleep at night? Like trying, the mind is racing, right? As women, our minds are always going to be racing. It's just, God, why, right? But this is a way to start calming down. Do a little meditation, turn on some soft music, right? Start thinking about some good things. Here's what happens, guys, is if we're always in the rat race of work, we're always thinking about it. We go to bed thinking about it. We wake up, then we're thinking about whatever we went to bed thinking about. We're dreaming about it or having a nightmare about it, whatever you want to call it, right? So if you start preparing your mind for bed and you start calming it down and you start thinking about some good things, think about the dreams that you're having, think about the fun things you did with your kids or your spouse or your friends that day or you want to do, then you wake up and you're more at ease. You're not like, oh my goodness, always in the rat race. Like, oh, now what? There's always going to be work. Until the day we die, there's going to be something that we have to do that we think we have to attend to. But your body, you only have that one body and one mind. You have to take care of it so that you can help other people in this world. You have to, okay? And then so you go through the whole thing again. And then during your day, I have something that I had started following a few years ago called the Pomodoro Method. It came out in the 80s. So literally you set a timer. I used to set a chicken timer before we had all these cell phones and all this technology. You set a chicken timer and you say like, okay, for 20 to 25 minutes, I am going through my 3 things for the day. And I'm going to keep working on just a thing. Close your tabs out, everything else out. When that timer goes off, you stop, you get up wherever you're at, and you just move around for a few minutes. And then you come back and you set it again. And you keep doing that a couple times. And then you have a longer break. That's like your lunch break, right? You have to remember being at home, you're still allowed to have breaks. You still get lunches. You need to adhere to those things. That there's a reason they have that in the workplace, right? In your corporate jobs, because you literally need to have breaks. I worked at a company where they thought it was going to be a really great idea to have 24/7 schedules. And we were in a machine shop, so we had machines running all the time, great. But then they wanted to do this where people were working 12-hour shifts for 3 days in a row, and then they'd have off, which sounds good when you're a manager and you're kind of figuring it out. But then when you're actually the employee doing it, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Your body and mind don't get a break. And it's not within your circadian system, right? That rhythm that your body was designed for. Mm-hmm. Don't make it so that you're working so much that you're pushing your body out of where it was designed to be.
Right.
It's so important. So important. And then going in alignment with what you're doing in your work environment during the day here, make sure you're set up for success. I'm not going to show you my work environment right now because it's a little scattered, but in all reality, like what I talk about in my book is set it up for success. Make sure you have a sturdy table. Make sure you have a comfortable, sturdy chair with a back on it, right? Or, I mean, you could get one of those exercise balls and sit on it for some support, in terms of balance and whatnot. But, make sure you've got some water sitting nearby. Make sure you've got a solid ground, right? You're not even kicking your table and moving things around. Make sure you have I have a computer stand, so I've got it all set up there. Those type of things. I'm by a natural source of light. Yes, I live in Arizona, so we have a lot of sun all the time. But if you're by a window, that again, it boosts your mood. It allows you to be more motivated, things like that. And if you don't have access to that, use a ring light. Get some kind of, they're $15-20 on Amazon. Easy to have. They're great for having Zoom calls. You got to have that light. I have a salt lamp right here. So that helps with your mood as well. Have things available. I have pictures of my kids. I've got here, I even show you one right now. I've got one where here's mommy, right? we didn't spell it right, but we've got it. But it makes me laugh and smile in my workplace
I just want to say that is probably the most accurate picture of a drawing of a mother with 8 arms doing all the things all the time.
Right, it is mommy, right? Mommy with 8 arms, you know?
Yeah.
At least I have a smile on my face. Not mean mommy time. Right? But you have those things because you think about even your desk at work in a physical environment, you have pictures of your kids, you have things that encourage you. I've got little Post-it notes and stuff on my computers too, like words of motivation for me. I got them on my bathroom mirrors and stuff. So when I get up and maybe I'm having a rough conversation with an employee or a client or whatever it is, I can get up and be like, okay, yeah, you're worthy. Okay, great. Yep. What you're doing it matters. Whatever it may be. It's so incredibly important to surround yourself. I have a diffuser. So if anyone's into essential oils, like some of those uplifting smells make all the difference in the world. I mean, you could just be like, breathe it in. Okay, much better. Mm-hmm. Right? So, instead of the kids like poopy smells and boys, they're gross. That helps too.
If a boy ever says, "Mommy, smell this," just don't do it. If you're not a boy mom, just don't trust it. If any little boy says that to you.
Yeah. I do see a comment here about someone asking about advice for people still going into the office today.
Yes.
I guess I would like a little bit more clarity on that, but what I can give in the meantime here is when you're still going to the office, still have those boundaries, still set your to-do list. I have a planner here that I absolutely love. The Full Focus Planner is great because it allows you to say, here's what I'm doing on a daily basis. Here's my my calendar. I'm really big on, yes, okay, we've got digital calendars. We swipe the notifications, guys. We see it pop up and then it goes away. When you have it written down physically, that's huge. Carry it with you. A lot of these planners, they're only like 2 or 3 months at a time. Take them with you everywhere you go. Open it up, have it on your desk. You can bring essential oils that you can sniff. Like I've got a roller one here that you can sniff at your workplace. You can do that. You've got your water bottles. You can still set it up for success, okay? Absolutely can do that. So make sure that you're still, I'm big on meetings and making sure they have agendas. If you're getting involved in too many meetings at your physical office because they know you're there, how many times do we all go into the office and we're like, okay, well, let's just have a meeting right now. Well, what you're doing is you're not respecting people's time. They may be sitting there in focus in one of their Pomodoro method situations there, focused on something else, and you're interrupting them, not respecting their time. So always provide an agenda when you're, especially the people in the office there. Just because they're physically there doesn't mean that they're available. Mm-hmm. It's really, really important.
Yeah, so. I also hear too is something that worked for me when I was working outside of the home and coming home was doing that transition and taking the few minutes between, from work and then, you're coming home and now you're going in to be with your family. I have been doing this for the last couple of years since I heard about it. And simply, I won't go through the whole thing right now because I've talked about it a million times. If anyone's stuck with me long enough, this is probably like the 100th time. But I will sit in my car, really, and take a few deep breaths, do a couple, not even a meditation. I'm not big into really long meditations, but, I just say the word release a few times, take a deep breath. I let my body untense. And then I think about if I'm going in and I know my kids are there, I'm like, okay, what kind of mom do I want to be? What do I want the first thing that I say? What energy do I want to bring? We're big on I don't know why, but we surprise, we scare each other all the time. So any adult or child could be hiding in any closet at any point waiting for someone to open it. So I might even think do I want to sneak in? And this whole thing I swear takes 3 to 5 minutes. I'm in the car, but instead of just getting out and taking any of the frustrations or anything like that maybe have crept up throughout the day or the tensions that have set in throughout the day, I take a minute to release that and I set an intention for going inside. And it is my goal to do that every single time. Sometimes I will forget. And when I go in, or if I'm in a rush, I'm already late and I know it's dinner time, but those are the days that we don't have the best conversations and I'm not my most patient mom or wife. Those are the days that I get a little bit snippier, So I still do that now because I'm in my office, door is shut, and they know when the door is shut, that means at work. But when I go out, and I go out a few times, my one son is home virtual online schooling, which is awesome.
I feel you. Yes, it's so awesome. I love you teachers so much.
But it's like, it's super challenging. And so going back and forth, I take those few seconds, even 30 seconds, to think about, okay, what kind of energy do I want to bring when I leave this room? So that can also, I found that like ridiculously, it was a game changer in my whole life when I was working outside the home. It's just taking those 5 minutes on the driveway in my car before I got out and doing that. So definitely something to try.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Even years ago, my sister used to do this. Is she was a single mom at the time, and anyone have teenage girls, ugh, emotions up and down. So she would have to, on her drive, she would drive home, but she would call her and say, okay, you know, how's your day going? So she would kind of be able to understand what kind of mood she was in and adjust herself. And many times my niece would see my sister sitting in the driveway and be like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, come inside. And she like have the doors locked. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a rough day. And then there would be times where she would call again, like as she was really close to home, because she had a 45-minute drive, really close, to see if that mood changed. Mm-hmm. Because if she was coming in and approaching it when she was all happy and excited, and then all of a sudden it changed and something happened, some friend texted her or something like that, whole nother story, right? But it made all the difference. I even told my husband when he was working out of the home too, like, if you need to drive, if you come home and you're crabby, like, please just go back in the car and like drive around the block, something, right? I mean, I miss those long drives home when I used to live in Chicago, of like driving home, getting your intentions right. Cause then you come home and you're a happier person, right? Mm-hmm. For the most part. I'm not going to say every day is peachy, right? But when you are rushed home, when you're literally just walking from one room to another these days, you have to, like you said, set that intention. Even if you have to lock yourself in the bathroom, I've done that, in the bathroom, go sit in the car and lock yourself in the car, in the garage, anything to make sure that you are the best person for those around you. And especially as you moms, we are the ones who everyone else's emotions fuel around ours. Mm-hmm. Everyone. So I mean, I used to say, it's like, hey, you wake up and you have a choice. You could be either French toast, you're sweet and fun and yummy, or you could be burnt toast and you got that nasty taste in your mouth all day. Right? All day. So choose the one that you want, right? I think this person said, I'm a part of a very small group of the company that's still working on site while the rest of the company is working from home. My department is considered essential to come in every day. So are looking for advice as to you working there? And
I think that was a follow-up to the other question of advice for still going into the office every day.
Yeah, I mean, just like we had said, it's like set your intentions, have your plan, right? Don't let either working in an office or working from home consume you. Mm-hmm. I'm really big, like I said, boundaries. You gotta, and here's a big thing too with those boundaries. If you're afraid of turning off the computer, you're turning off your work, communicate it to your boss, communicate it to your employees, your colleagues, and say, like, I used to have it in my signature when I was in the corporate office. Hey, if it's after this time, I won't receive the email, whatever, it's an emergency, please call this number. It was never my cell phone number, ever. It was a different number that went into an inbox that I would still get notifications on my cell phone if it's an emergency, or if it was someone else. But if you set those boundaries and you'd let other people know, like, I know it's hard to be able to tell your boss, be like, hey, you know what? Like, for example, my husband and I talk about this all the time. Hey, you know what? I'm having a rough day. Do you mind if I get, a longer break in the afternoon? Can you communicate that? Do you have anything going on? Right. Mm-hmm. And then communicate it to your boss and say, hey, guess what? Like, I need to be here for my spouse or my kids right now. I will be offline from this time to this time. I will be available back after this time if there's an emergency. Here we go. Or, hey, I decided I'm going to start working out at this time in the middle of the morning or something like that. It really helps me stay motivated and helps me get the energy that I need to help the company and clients and things like that. I will be offline during this time, but I'll be right back out at this time. Mm-hmm. It can be hard because a lot of you guys are so incredibly loyal to the companies, which is great, but you have to take a step back and make sure that you're not being overworked and you're not owing your entire life over to the company.
Yes, so true. And that's the thing, is a lot of, miscommunication happens or frustrations happen when there's a lack of communication versus just, preempting those challenges by putting those boundaries into place. So I'm a college professor here as well. And the very first week, and I said it multiple times over the couple of weeks to my students, and I said, guys, I'm available to you from about 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. When you email me, I will do my very best to get back to you as quick as possible within 24 hours, as expect. But this is the time after 8 p.m. and on weekends. I'm not saying I'll never respond, but do not count on it. And I tell them their assignments, because we're all online, most assignments are due Sunday at midnight. I'm like, so if you have an assignment and you're not planning to look at it until the weekend, please make sure that you look at it on Friday to make sure you understand what you have to do, and reach out to me if you don't. I always do a check on Friday evening before I go to bed. And I always make sure I respond to anything so that they're not stuck throughout the weekend. And sometimes I do reply on the weekend. If I'm working, if I've got a section of time that I've dedicated to work, I might pop on and check, or if I see something come in, but I set that expectation right from the beginning. And I said, so do not expect any emails from me on a Saturday, from Friday at 8 p.m. until Monday morning at 8 a.m. And so far, and I've done this now for the last couple semesters, and it works. And I tell them, I have 2 little kids, I have a husband, I have a business, I have a lot of things going on, and I have to make sure that I am, giving when I'm dedicating my time one place, that they're getting 100% of me, whether that's to my kids, whether that's to my relationships, whatever it is. So, Monday to Friday, I'm here for you. I will always check the email at the end of the day, but weekends are my time for my family. And, no one's ever said anything or, have been upset about it. They know that if they if they don't message and they message on a Saturday, I may or may not get back to them. So it's really important to start that.
And I think, here's the thing too, is your colleagues and your managers and your employees will respect you more if you set boundaries. Because what that does, it also releases them to be able to set boundaries too and relax. Because if you're on all the time, they all feel that they have to be on all the time, and everyone's stressed out, and that's no fun. And when we burn out, everyone burns out, and then we have no company and we can't service people. So you have to set the boundaries, like this person saying here is, it's hard when you work in worldwide logistics and the world doesn't stop. You're right. It doesn't stop. And if you don't stop, you're going to get so burned out that you can't help them. Yeah. So learn how to delegate, find other people that you can teach your job to and can help you out. It may take a little bit more time up front, but I'm telling you, it'll save you so much in the end. So much. Set some processes in place. Maybe there's some things you can automate. We have so many tools at our fingertips. Let's use those. Don't think that you're the only person that can do it. Okay, I'm not saying that you're not gifted to do it, that you shouldn't be doing it, but you got to give yourself a break. We need you at your best.
Yeah, so true. And there are a lot of companies that work 24/7, but you're like, you individual, I can't say the name of it, but you Facebook user.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
But you are not expected to work 24/7. And if your employer has put that on you, I mean, there are labor laws in place for a reason, but oftentimes I find it's us putting those expectations on ourselves. I'm a manager, I'm a director, I'm a VP. I have to do it all. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility. Okay, but you could only do so much with the time that you have. And exactly as you said, Vanessa, if you don't give yourself the time to take care of yourself, then you're only going to be able to push for so long at that full capacity before you're going to hit that end, or hit that wall, and then you're going to be no good to anybody.
Yeah. And I used to do that. I was a consultant for a large organization out here across in many states and in countries, and would travel 3 weeks out of every month. Yes, I could do it, and burn myself out. Was I teaching some people? Yeah, but I still didn't want to let go. I was still working when I was at home, still working when I was on the plane and in the airports and all this stuff. And, this person is saying that you don't have enough depth to delegate. Well, then you better talk to your manager and you better figure out what you absolutely have to do in order to service your company and the customers, and then what you really don't have to do and someone else can do. Because when you have those conversations, it opens things up. They may not even realize all that you're doing. And if you get burned out and leave, you're leaving them with a burden. You're not setting anyone else. And then maybe you're not setting anyone else up for success. That's your job, is to be setting people up for success. And, it's not all about having more people. It's about effectively managing the processes, optimizing those processes. And then if they're pushing you too much, you should probably start looking for another company, because if they can't support you after you have that conversation, that honest conversation, then you should be finding someplace else to work, because no one should be working that hard. And I don't think anyone in this world is like, you have to work all the time, around the clock, every day. I think it's you're just going to have to, and I hate to say this, but at the same time, I don't, like, suck it up and have the conversation, make the time for it, because your work-life balance is so incredibly important. Work is only a part of your life. Whether you're working at home or you're in an office, it's only a part of your life. Take it from someone who has been there and crashed multiple times. It's not good at all. You can only last so long. And who wants to spend the end of their life just crashed, having health issues, mental issues, all that stuff, and having to recover, and then pay to have people help you at that point.
Yeah. No, so true. So true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love this conversation, Vanessa, and I'm so glad you're able to come on, because I think that, there is a mix, right, of people who are working from home, and have all those challenges. I know working from home before, I actually was really enjoying it. And then after Christmas here in Canada, in the area that I live in, we went into lockdown on Boxing Day. So my son couldn't go back to school. He was going to in-person school in September, and it very quickly changed how I feel about working from home. Because
right.
So my toddler was home. I finally was able to get my toddler into a home daycare that I felt was safe, and I was good with that, and that was really helpful. But a few weeks I had both of them home, trying to do calls, trying to teach, trying to help my son. He's only in grade 1, so trying to do that. The number of times he shuts down the computer by accident, and he's in the other room, I can hear him, like, oh, it was chaos. And the only thing that's changed is my little one is in daycare, but I'm still sort of juggling all the other things. And so some of the things I've been doing that you suggested today, and it's been amazing. And some things I'm going to start implementing that I haven't been. So is there anything you want to leave our audience off with? Did you have any other points, or did anything else bubble up that you wanted to share?
Yeah, and just what you said there too is having the kids at home, guys. And I talk about this again a lot in my book, and I talk about it with my clients, is give yourself grace. This working from home is a gift. It is. I think we got so incredibly busy. I still can't find another word for that, but busy with running around to work, going to all the different events, doing all this stuff, that we lost the time that we needed to be at home with our families. And yes, is it frustrating to deal with the kids? And mine have been potty training through some of this. They've food nonstop, schooling coming in, interrupting, all the type of thing. One thing, a little tip that I have for kids, if let's say we're on a call and my kid comes in right now, I teach them, hey, put your hand on my arm, because you can't see my arms down here, right? You have no idea what I'm doing down here. Put your hand on my arm. I acknowledge you. I know that you're here. Don't say anything until I turn and acknowledge you. Another thing too is when you get on calls with people, say, hey, like I said at the beginning of this, hey, my kids are here. They might come in. You might hear them. This is real life, guys. It's not like back 10 years ago when we go hide in the closet so no one would hear that we're at home working, right? This is reality now. Give yourself grace. Allow your kids to come in and sit down. My husband's even come in a couple times, be like, hi, how's it going? We have a life, and it's okay to mesh the two, but it's also okay to set those boundaries. Say, hey guys, I need time to focus here. It's okay, guys, to put the kids in front of the TV for, 20, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. We've done too, where we're both on calls, important calls that we can't be interrupted on. That is okay to do. It took me a while to realize that it's okay to do, because we all need our space and time. And this is another thing too, is allow your spouse, whoever else you're living with, say, hey, I've got the kids for a while. You go take a break. You go do what you need to do to get rejuvenated, and switch those roles too. Even the kids too. We take the kids here, we're going to go to the store or park, just you and I, to get out of the environments, just focus time with, me and you and mommy, because we all need that. So give yourself grace, right? Give yourself grace and be real with people. Don't pretend that you're in an office and you can't be interrupted. Don't pretend. We all know it's fake.
And you're causing more and more stress for yourself and more overwhelm. And the first kind of week or two, I was doing that. I was running back and forth and trying to help my son on the computer. And then, last week I just was like, forget it. You know what? He is going to miss 35 minutes because there's an overlap of when I'm teaching students online, live on Zoom, and they're paying to go to college. They need to have that experience as well. And my son's in grade 1, and we can do more activities after. So on Fridays is a day where I don't have any other support to help me in this like 35-40 minute span. Mm-hmm. So once he goes on first, recess, he doesn't go back until just before the lunch. So he gets his activity for, to finish after lunch. Mm-hmm. And before I was trying to do it all, and I was like, hey, don't come in. If it gets stuck, just stay on mute. Don't, and I was like panicking, thinking, but I'm like, sometimes we do it to ourselves, right? We think we have to have everything perfect all the time. We have to show people we're able to do these things all the time. And when I finally gave that up just last week, I'm telling you, this past week has been, it's been 2 Fridays. So like the Friday before, and then this past Friday, I was like, sorry, bud, like when you go on, you have your snack, mommy's going to be on for about 45 minutes. You can have your snack. I leave the door open so I can hear him, but he's watching a show or coloring, or I give him an activity that I know is going to take him a little bit of time. And it is what it is, right? That at this point in time, it's not hurting him. It's not hurting me. I make sure his activities are done by the end of the day, and it's not that big of a deal. But I was putting so much pressure on myself to have all those moving pieces working perfectly. And life is not perfect right now. There's right? It never is, but there's more disruption now than ever. And I think we have to, you're so right. We have to give ourselves that grace and that understanding and be like, this is how it is. This is my best. Like this, you want the best for me. This is what has to happen.
And here's another thing too, is the kids need to see that you work and what you do. They're curious. Allow them to learn from you. Allow them to show them what hard work is. Hey, mommy or daddy is going to sit here and work. I would love it if you join me. I say this all the time. I would love it if you join me. I'm more than happy to give you some headphones. You can watch your videos, do your schoolwork, be on class. It's fine, because sometimes they have that need. We all do, like, want to be around someone because just for that comfort, and that's okay. Like, here, sit right here. Is it annoying sometimes with they don't want to use headphones and they want to be all like loud and crazy? Then I get my headphones out and I put them on. Right? So don't push them out of your life. They're your family. Whoever's in your home, you're supposed to be around them right now. Don't push them away, but make sure you do have the boundaries. Like if it is an important call, if you really do have to focus on a specific project or a deadline or something, but don't be like, get out of here, get me. Okay, we're going to be realistic. We all do sometimes, but right. I'll put it on mute now, like cover my mouth. I'm like, get out of here now, like type thing when they're all dog piling and jumping around and whatnot. Yes. Yeah. But have some fun with it too. Like you have to realize, you laugh because this happens. Get out of here.
I know. I put mine on mute, my trigger, and I just smile and I'm on mute and I'm like, close the door. Yeah. I'm like perfected the mime, that's too funny.
Yep. Or times I have my arm out to the side and I'm like shaking it, like go, like I'm trying to still have a conversation. It's like. Yeah. Also set the expectations beforehand. Be like, hey, just like you said, you do with your son. Like, here's your snack. My door's open. If you need to come in, like I tell my kids all the time, like, yeah, you can go grab a snack, whatever. If it's important, which they don't know when they're young, what important really is, they still come in and they want to know, right? The little kids, how many of your kids come in and they want to make silly faces in the camera?
Yeah.
Let them have fun. If it's not a super strict, important meeting or discussion, let them do it. Be a part of it.
Yeah. I shared with my students, I said, guys, I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So if you see a tiny human run behind me, like it is what it is. They happen so far. And some of the students are like, we want to see your kids. And one time my dog walked in the background and like all the messages, oh, what's your dog's name? What kind of dog is he? Like he pushed the door open. And I told them right from day one, I'm like, this is life. This is what it is. I do my best, but if it happens, it happens. So no. 100%. And thank you, Vanessa. This has been so much fun. I see tons of comments coming in. Yeah. So if there's any questions maybe that we missed, but I so appreciate you coming on and talking. This is, I think, something that is going to be a discussion for a long time. as things continue to change and evolve. And, some people may be going back to work soon, in person, and others I think will continue to work remotely. I think we've learned a lot from this last year, and that the work that can be done, and sometimes the quality of work is even better, depending obviously on the job. But so companies may choose to keep certain percentages, remote, for a number of different reasons. So I think this is definitely a conversation that's going to continue to happen. So thank you so much for being here and sharing all the amazing tips and strategies. And how can they reach you? So if anybody, I know we didn't talk about career, but you are a career coach. So people maybe in transition or even looking to level up in their current company, you help people in that realm as well. So how can they find you if they want to connect with you after here?
It's a great question. So my name is spelled differently. So it's Vanessa McConkey. They can go to vanessamcconkey.com. You can go onto LinkedIn, here on Facebook too. You'll be able to find me. And then you can also go and I'll promote my book. You can go and find the book on Amazon too, Designing the Best Work from Home You. And that has all of the resources and ways to find me on there as well.
Perfect. And we'll pop your links and stuff in the comments on this thread, or even in the thread that the other post that we made. We'll pop it in there so that they can definitely reach out to you.
Perfect.
Incredible. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. We have another session. It is a closed door Zoom call for any questions you may have about anything, ranging from just the content that we provided, the program invitation that we extended to you. So any questions like that, we are going to be on there from 7 to 8 tonight. You would have received an email today with the link to join. If not, as always, pop a comment in there or reach out to your concierge and they'll be able to hook you up with that Zoom link. Hopefully we see you guys tonight. Otherwise, we will see you back tomorrow at 1:30 with our next bonus session. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thanks again, Vanessa.
You're welcome.